Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. If you're here, I'm sure that you have probably gotten an interview with a school or multiple schools and you're preparing for that interview day coming up. Congratulations on getting that interview. I'm going to go over today exactly how I prepared for my DPT school interviews and managed to get into all 5 of the schools that I interviewed with, from the likes of Mayo Clinic to the University of Colorado, where I'm currently attending DPT school. To make things simple, I'm going to provide a short list of the 5 most important things that I believe helped me stand out from the competition during interview day. So let's get started with the first one. Do your research. One of my first thoughts I had when preparing for DPT school interviews was, I need to figure out exactly what makes me a great candidate for this program, and what better way to do that than pinpointing exactly how you fit into a school's mission statement, into faculty interests, or the surrounding area of the school. You want to make this your top priority because it will give you a great outline to start from for preparing for your interviews, and you want to do it for each school individually. You don't want to go for a general spiel that you give to every single school, because even though they don't know that you said the same thing to another school, by providing specific details about a school, you will more likely be able to provide that sense of commitment to the school that you're applying to. Now, the interview committee is looking for students who are showing interest in their program, who will be able to carry out their mission statement, that will be able to possibly stay there post-graduation, and on top of that, be able to work well collectively as a class cohort. Before my interviews, I made sure to specifically research the program's mission statement, their curriculum, the city surrounding the school that I was applying to, as well as the faculty and their specific interest. This gave me ample information to answer questions such as, why did you apply to our program? Why do you want to be a physical therapist? And tell us about yourself. Some of the most commonly asked general interview questions that you should be ready to answer on that interview day. Now, once you've prepared your research and gotten lots of background information to prepare yourself for interview day, make sure to create a list of potential interview questions to practice from. This process can start by you looking up potential interview questions online, by you trying to anticipate some of the interview questions that you believe your school might ask you because of things you found important within your research on the program from the last step. Or you could even ask your academic advisor to see if they can provide you with some example interview questions to help you prepare. Well, it is very unlikely that you will be able to anticipate and practice every single interview question that you will run into on interview day. It will still help you develop those responses, get used to being in that interview type thought process, and just prepare you overall to even adapt some of the responses that you can think of right off the bat to whatever questions you may face. Now, once I had those list of questions that could potentially be shown to me on that interview day, I made sure to think of at least 2 stories or responses that I believe would answer those questions. So that way I had some options to choose from when I was doing my upcoming practice later on. Now, once you have those lists of both your stories and responses and those questions, make sure to go and rehearse your stories. Now that you have a better idea of the stories and/or responses that you want to have prepared for interview days for the questions that you anticipate, have your friends, your advisor, and other academic support interview you in an interview environment where you make sure to dress up in your interview day clothes, you have everything prepared, them with their questions, and just have them go from your anticipated questions and also try to throw you some curveballs that they think might be on there or things that they know you might be able to anticipate for your interview day. This practice will be really good for you because it will mean that you will be able to make your responses that you thought of more fluid and coherent by just practicing through them with lots of repetitions. This will also help you in the long run, making you more confident in that interview situation, making interview day a little less daunting, as well as potential interviews down the road for your actual job. Now, when this is happening, make sure that your interviewers have a sheet of paper that they are writing notes on about each of your responses, talking about your confidence levels, talking about, oh, maybe if I put this thing in this portion of the story, or let's try and emphasize this more, so that you can have that really useful feedback for the next portion that I will talk about in a moment, but also make sure that you are making notes yourself after each of your responses and being like, oh, I didn't feel as good about the flow of this, come back to this and make sure we change it. Just because your feeling is probably right, and if it matches with your interviewer, then you know exactly where to target your refinement, which is our next step in the process, which is refine and consolidate your stories. This is a crucial part of the interview preparation process because this is where you can start to tailor your responses to exactly what the program mission is, to making sure that you emphasize the specific qualities you want to communicate that you possess to that interview committee, as well as demonstrating and really showcasing those skills that you have. Now, if you and your interviewer are saying that you want to, for example, stress more of your patient-centered care in a certain situation, make sure to then take that story, go back to it, try and refine and just rearrange it so that you can really find exactly what emphasizes that point most specifically. And once you refine your story, make sure you go back and practice it again. Don't just go into interview day right after you just changed your question, because you won't be as confident when you're going through that story. Make sure you take some time to re-rehearse that story with that rephrasing. On top of this, make sure that you are being concise in your responses. Well, the interview committee really wants to get to know you and how you might potentially fit into their program. They are also interviewing hundreds to thousands of other applicants and are restrained by time. So you want to make sure that if you are someone who rambles or goes on tangents when they are talking during interviews, to really try and cut down to just what you need. If you need a tool for this, one of the most commonly used methods that I have seen is the STAR method. This helps you break down into just the situation, the task at hand, the action you took, and then your response, pretty much breaking it down into those simple things where you can make sure you get everything to portray the story, but also make it impactful at the same time without using up all of your time. One of the last portions of an interview, which can often be overlooked, is the classic, "Do you have any questions for us?" closer. Now, if you have followed all of the steps leading up to this point, you should be prepared to have specific questions to each school prepared for this question. For each school, you should have 2 to 3 questions prepared to respond to this question. It can be anything from research that a particular faculty is doing, it can be what the program is doing to help its students in and out of school, or anything similar, but you should have a question prepared. Showing this engagement near the end of an interview solidifies your proactiveness and shows your commitment to ensuring that you are going to the right school. When I went through my interviews, I made sure to have one question prepared for every single school that I applied to that would ask a question regarding a wide-stretching question about the physical therapy world as a whole and see how they were addressing it. Secondly, I would have 1 to 2 other questions regarding specifically their faculty, their program, and things like that I wanted to know to ensure that I was making the correct choice in my school. When you have these prepared questions ready, It really lights up the eyes of the interview committee and ends the interview on a great note. So in summary, do your research, develop practice questions, rehearse your stories, refine and consolidate those stories, and have questions prepared for the end of the interview. These 5 steps are what I use to ace all of my DPT school interviews, and I hope that they will be helpful to you as well. Interview day can be extremely stressful, but preparation like this can help you feel more confident and ready for that day. Good luck on all of your interviews. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Also, make sure to check out my other day in the life content if you want to find out more about what life might be like after you ace those interviews. Thank you so much for watching. This has been KBDPT, and I'll see you all in the next video.